At this rate, Rudy's gonna have a kid super early.
I mean, that's not my concern here. My concern is he's a 32-year-old man, essentially.
Yeah.
And she's not. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are back with episode 6 of Mushoku Tensei. First off, though, I believe we have a comment. From Kevin Cawthorne from the Patreon, episode A Young Lady and Violence. Regarding Saint Seiya, I haven't seen it myself, so I was curious, and its tags are action, deity, fantasy, manga, martial arts, science fiction, shonen, superpower, tragedy, violence. So yeah, Ronin Warriors looks like it'd be a good comparison. As for the Mushoku Tensei episode, after Grisling saves them, Rudy finally realizes he's actually in a real world where people die. It only took someone being decapitated in front of him, lol. Also, we get a first glimpse at a massive power level difference in the show with how easily Grisling dispatched the kidnappers. The move she uses is an attack. Sorry, no, that's just how it's written. Is an attack is supposedly almost as fast as light. If we look at the effects used, the rainbow effect when she draws, and the inverting of colors during, then the sonic boom as the colors revert and catch up with her attack, it's a fairly decent interpretation of what a relativistic Doppler effect may look like. Stolen from elsewhere on the internet, quote, essentially, what this means is that some of the wavelengths of light that you normally cannot see with the naked eye, things like infrared light and ultraviolet light, become visible to you as you approach the speed of light. This is what the rainbow effect is at the start of her attack. If you were to look behind yourself while traveling at that speed, everything would look darker. I believe this is why they chose to inverse the colors for a brief moment before the color is gradually refilled into the scene. This effect is actually to represent the light catching up with her. It's only after this and a dramatic pause that we get a much slower sonic boom from her attack. End quote. So she was moving at such a significant fraction of the speed of light that it could potentially cause a noticeable time dilation. Also, I am not a scientist, so all that above might actually be totally incorrect. I just read stuff on the internet.
Hell yeah. All that made sense, and if that is the actual explanation and all they did that for the attack to actually have some basis within logical explanation, that's incredible.
I mean, I think we all understand the concept of redshift, blue shift at high speed travel. We've all watched enough sci-fi.
True.
And yeah, in case anybody heard the boo boo noise in my background as I was talking, it's because I was rendering another video for the channel. I'm recording videos and rendering them at the same time.
Multitasking, baby.
That's what I gotta do to be able to catch up on a per week basis. Yeah, but that's the comment. So I guess next step, how about we go into your recap?
Yes, so Rudy showed up for his first job, which was to educate a young woman in the ways of magic. However, she was a lady who happened to be violent. Imagine that. Episode title Shadow.
Well, you called her a lady. She was a young lady.
Yeah, it's true. But as after trying base means to earn the respect or the ability to be listened to, he hatched a plan to have them be kidnapped and them escape, not knowing that secretly there was someone who held a grudge against her specifically for quote-unquote making his life horrible, ruining it, and or being a living hell, which ended in a real capture and attempt and reveal that they planned on selling her for money. Rudy could not do much in this situation because we got to see the first real examples of sword play, being strong against magic if you are skilled, which then resulted in Ghislaine coming and saving them. They then made it back to the estate where the respect was then properly shown, and she gave him permission to call her by her name, which I cannot remember right now.
Well, I mean, if that's the end of your recap, then let's go ahead and just go over the board then so you can remember her name.
Indeed.
I mean, it was one of the two names I said out loud while I was correcting the board before we started.
Yes, it was Sylphet.
Yes, sure.
It was not.
You want to go on recorded record as saying that? Sure.
No, I believe it was Iris.
I saw your message juggling around down here, and it's like, well, it's none of those.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. I always wait to see if you have any comments before I jump in and start myself, so.
No. Go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it. It's these two. The
Yep.
only two additions to the board, so. Philip and his
Philip
daughter
seems cool
Eris.
so far.
Sure. I mean, brought in this guy to teach his daughter and just stood back in the background watching Rudy slap her. And then signed on for the kidnapping plan.
It is. Yeah, it's also like a medieval sort of standard of treatment as well. Like, he clearly knew that that slap would just result in him getting punched in the face.
I mean, you're doing that thing that people who watch, like, Game of Thrones do. When they go, it was that era. Like, what do you fucking mean it was that era? It's a made-up show. You
Mm-hmm.
realize that Middle Earth and the whatever place the Game of Thrones takes place in and all that, they're all fucking made up, right?
Yeah.
They're not based on historical accuracies. I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this to the general audience, or I
Yeah.
guess the public at large. Anyone who says that sentence, it was of that era. No. Game of Thrones is based on its own mythos, its own fantasy. It's not based on any real historical accuracy about what medieval times was like.
Yeah.
Even
It is
what most of
more
us.
based off of that than it is our current standard, is all I'm saying.
Well, the thing is what I was about to say is that what most people consider like medieval times is also a romanticized version of what things were.
Oh,
Knights weren't running
absolutely.
around on the battlefield doing heroics.
Oh, oh no, living in those times would have been a horrible, tough existence that involved in people dying like by like their 30s, if they're lucky.
As they should. I believe that if we all lived in a Logan's Run type society, we'd all be happier.
By that definition, I should be dead by now.
Well, yeah, I'd be 2 lifetimes gone already, and I would have been happier for it. Look, I think Logan's Run is what 26, 26, and you get
Think
killed.
so?
Yeah, I think the vast majority of I can't even say that. I want to say 19 is when things would start going downhill.
21.
See, I would say 19 is when things went downhill for me. If you're saying 21 is when things went downhill for you.
No. 21 is Logan's Run.
Oh. Well, that's Logan's Run the book or Logan's Run the movie? Because I believe they're different ages in the movie because they needed actors that looked older or the actors they had were older.
Okay, so it's 30 in the movie.
Oh, there you go. That's what I said originally, and then backtracked because I thought the movie was younger. Again, I think it's because in the movie they had older actors, so they needed to raise it. It's like makeup isn't gonna make this guy look 20.
You know what? There's a way around it. Just say that they're younger. They put Joe Manganiello as a high schooler in Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I mean, there is an element of that guy could probably pull off a football jock. He doesn't look old, and he has the thing that you
A
kind of
high
have
school
is that
football jock?
yeah, he's got the thing that kind of thing that you have in that he's got enough facial coverage that any age lines or anything like that kind of gets covered over.
I'm sorry. If you look at images of Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson, he looks like someone in the middle years of college.
Here's the thing. Anybody looking at an image of Joe Manganiello is going to notice the rippling biceps and broad chest
I,
before they ever
I'm
even
not
look at his face.
I'm not even talking about Joe Manganiello now. I'm talking about Joe Manganiello and Spider-Man specifically. He has a face that shows his age.
I'm just saying. That's modern casting. We're talking about 1970s movies, which is
It's
Logan's
true.
Run, which is we're already casting old people as like 20 years older. I mean, 20 years younger. But the idea is that we cast them from like 60s portraying 40-year-olds rather than
Yeah,
40-year-olds playing 20-year-olds,
indeed.
which is a harder jump, I feel like. Anyway, my point was that we would all be happier if we died at 30. Let's not jump over the crazy hurdle that I already put in our way.
We're just
Oh,
adding multiple hurdles.
well, I don't. Well, I'm only one step away from the eat the rich, I guess. I don't mean it from a political standpoint. I mean, I can't remember what the saying is. I'm trying to remember that
Mhm.
let old people die or something like that, or don't let them hold positions of power, or like the U.S. presidency is being run for by the two oldest people to ever run for president, only set by the fact that the last time that they both ran for president was also the record holder for the last two oldest people to run for president.
Yeah.
You really can't innovate when the people who are in power hold thoughts from 100 years ago.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The fun of watching people in Congress debate tech company people without knowing what the fuck they're talking about, which is why we need 5-year-olds in Congress. Look, who knows
Yeah.
more about technology than a 5-year-old?
Yeah, but yeah, as that would be entertaining, but I'm good.
Anyway, um, anything to say about what's coming up?
Oh no, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna try and stop doing that. It seems like we're going into an episode that's going to actually show off the city that we're in, because we've only seen it at night or in very brief passing. That's the only indicator I got.
The pedantic in me wants to say we saw it at dusk.
I appreciate the pedantic.
The arguer in me wants to point out that we arrived during the day.
And that was when we saw it in passing,
Yes, but we saw it.
which I said in passing.
I mean, I would argue, like, if this was like a zombie apocalypse and we were arriving at New York, you would easily be able to tell the difference, like smoke coming off buildings, people screaming and running around, that this is a horrible place, versus arriving at New York in the modern day with smoke coming off the buildings, people running around, and we discovered this is a horrible place anyway.
But there's a difference between seeing something and actually getting to experience it.
I would argue that the experiential difference is not that much greater. I mean, it's more informative, sure, but you can witness a bad thing, and then you don't have to experience the bad thing to know it's a bad thing.
There's a difference between seeing someone get punched in the face and getting punched in the face.
Right, but you
They're two very
understand.
different things.
You understand that getting punched in the face is bad without having to get punched in the face.
See, you say that, but there's people who are like, hey, I could get punched in the face and I'd be fine. Then they do, and they go, ow, I'm not fine.
Oh, yeah, sure. But those people also understand that getting punched in the face isn't like something that. It's not a replacement for a kiss, right? These people do understand that being punched in the face is a negative action. They're not
Fair
saying,
enough.
I wouldn't feel that, or, I get punched in the face all the time. It's fine. That's not like it's a replacement for something else. My dad never hugged me. He just punched me in the face.
Understood.
I'm just saying, we arrived at Roa during the daytime. Nothing bad was happening, right? It wasn't under siege by a bandit gang. There wasn't like, Rudy didn't like witness somebody getting pickpocketed the moment he was driving by. It wasn't displayed that way. Versus, coming back from the kidnapping and we get into an instant fight. Arguably, they're completely different perspectives and they're both equally valid.
Agreed.
Alright, well, I guess if that's everything, I would say we go ahead and get into it then.
True. Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
昨日はお手柄だったね、ルーデウス。
いえ、すみません。僕のせいであんな事件に。
Here we
し
go.
かしわからないのですが、
Actually, it was your butler's fault.
なぜ僕までさらわれたのでしょう。
グレイラット家の血筋ともなると、いろんな使い方があるんだよ。政治的にも肉体的にもね。
はあ、
ところで
Okay.
分かっているね。くれぐれも。
ええ、わかっています。ギレーヌがやったですよね。
よろしい。
事件はギレーヌが全て解決したということになった。グレイラット家に剣王が招かれているのを知らしめ、家の強さを誇示するためだ。
Makes sense.
それに俺の存在を他のグレイラット家に知られるのはまずいらしい。よくわからないが、まあ政治的な駆け引きってやつなんだろう。
ヒルダ。
おはよう、あなた。
パウロの息子だ。エリスの新しい家庭教師に就くことになった。
お初にお目にかかります。ルーデウス・グ
The
レイラ
new
ット
suit he's
フィリ
learned.
ップの奥さんか。
Yep.
ねえ。
Pervert Rudy.
どうやら嫌われてしまったらしい。なんで？
パウロの息子はここか。
はじめまして、ルーデウス・グレイラットです。
パウロの息子にしては礼儀正しい。この館への滞在を許す。
ルーデウス様、そちらは現フィットア漁師のサウロス・ボレアス・グレイラット様にございます。
私の父上だ。
エリスを助けてくれたらしいな。
あ、いえ。
Kind of weird. I don't think I've commented on this before.
様、このわし
How they all have the same middle name too.
いえ、フィリップ様が。
I didn't even think about that.
フィリップ。
はい、父上。
娘を救ってくれた恩人に何という扱いだ。
I mean, because it's Eris Boreas Greyrat, Philip Boreas Greyrat, now Soros Boreas Greyrat.
家族として温かみのあるものを与えたいと考えております。
考えがあるのならばよい。
ありがとうございます。
That's
殴ったことは謝らない。
Remember what I mentioned about my dad never hugged me, but he punched me in the face?
yeah. I see why he did it.
ルーデンス頼みがある。
はい。
エリスに魔術を教えてやってくれ。何でもお前の使った魔術が目に焼き付いて離れんらしい。
それはもちろん。
まあ、エリスとそっくり。エリスがあんなのになったのはこの人の真似じゃないのか？
それはエリス様本人が僕に言うべきかと。
なんだと？
頼み事をしたいけど頭を下げるのは嫌。そんな大人に育てるおつもりですか？
ほう、 言うではないか。その通りだ。
By the way, the same windows that are in the ending credits.
Interesting.
Or same window types. I don't know if that's the same windows.
エリス、頼み事をしたいのなら自分の頭を下げろ。
そんな頼んでくださると言ってくれたのに。
エリス。
To be fair, it just feels like you have to, that's the way you have to talk to her.
Yeah.
それが人に物を頼む態度か。
あんたが言うなよ。
エリスに魔術を教えてくださいにゃ。
this is such shenanigans.
Also, he's imitating ponytails, the same thing you didn't like from Furin.
もっと腰を突き出さないとダメじゃない
Yeah.
か。
旦那様方は大の従属好きでして、あれは垂れた耳を模しているのでございます。
読み書き算術はいらないにゃ。魔術だけでいいにゃ。それが人に物を頼む態度か。
Remember the first thing that Rudy commented on when he walked into the household was all the beastkin he liked looking at, so he's one to talk.
True.
Also, once again, the diegetic way of opening. Also, washing your mouth on the tablecloth.
That's, yeah. Very interesting noble family.
もっと足を使え。手だけを動かすな。汝の求めるところに大いなる炎の加護あれ。
One of these days, Rudy will actually be able to sword fight.
He was arguably defending himself.
There's a difference between being able to defend yourself and actually being able to fight.
I mean, defending yourself is part of the fight.
Oh, it's part of it.
I mean, the same thing as boxing, right? You don't technically have to do very much at the beginning to let the other guy tire themselves out. Then you can take all the actions you need.
But that's such a dangerous strategy.
Yeah, if you're bad at defending yourself.
Not even that, because you can be off by such a little degree of variance or move slightly wrong and get clipped.
Maybe we need to add Hajime no Ippo to the list. The best boxing anime.
Interesting.
いつかルーデウスみたいな大きな花火を上げてみせるわ。何してるんですか。そのやる気が読み書きや算術にもあると助かるんですが。またですか。エリス、どこですか。
家庭教師を始めて1ヶ月。エリスが授業を聞いてくれない。諭そうとしても逃げ出す。捕まえようとすると殴ってから逃げ出す。追いかければ戻ってきてもう一度殴ってから再度逃げ出す。読み書きと算術となるといつもこうだ。
She's just following her grandfather's footsteps.
I guess also remember that using magic at the early stages tires you out.
Yep.
まだまだダブル A じゃな。しかし精進すれば E ランク以上
Yeah,
にな
no,
るじゃろう。
sexual assault.
お嬢様起きてください。楽しい勉強の時間ですよ。
起きないか。しょうがないな。
At this rate, Rudy's gonna have a kid super early.
I mean, that's not my concern here. My concern is he's a 32-year-old man, essentially.
Yep.
And she's not.
来る。
Yeah. Good kick.
各班からのセットプレー壊し見てから余裕でしたってか。
I mean, he deserves more.
どうしようもない。ギレーヌに助け出し願おう。彼女ならエリスの扱い方にも心得があるだろう。
This isn't even a managing Eris situation. You deserved that.
Yeah.
You're lucky she's not telling Philip and having you, like, castrated.
Yeah.
昔は剣さえあればいいと思っていた。パーティー名は国老の牙。メンバーは6人。剣士2人、戦士とシーフ、それに僧侶に魔術師がそれぞれ1人ずつ。
Okay.
物資の調達や配分はメンバーに任せっきりだった。
食いついた。
Silhouettes I didn't remember, but now make more sense.
ああ、もう7年も前に。
Pay attention, Kelvin Cawthron, and I do remember. And I will remember this later, hopefully.
ああ、たくさんある。パウロとゼニスが結婚した後、私は一人で旅をしていたのだが。
So we've met 3 of the party members confirmed so far then. Ghislaine, Paul, and Zenith.
Monster shit will give you the runs.
Yeah.
なんとも胃が痛くなる話だ。
だから算日は覚えたい。授業を頼む。
Also very confusing because it looked like they were learning writing, not math.
Yeah.
踏み込み姿勢を覚えろ。相手をよく見ろ。相手より早く踏み込んで、相手の動きを読み、そこに剣を打ち込め。目をつむるな。相手より遅く踏み込んだら、剣の軌道から半身ずらせ。
Rudy needs to stop moving backwards. That's the first problem.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it all depends. Clearly the aggressive approach works for Eris, but as a matter of reach, backing up and maybe making her extend herself kind of does open her up to strikes if he was actually making any offensive moves.
I agree with that, but because he's only doing defensive maneuvering, he needs to add in lateral movement.
Plus what she just said, he's also using a longer sword, so backing up, making her extend, and having a longer reach already.
Mm-hmm.
目の前の相手が本気で襲いかかってくるのが。何よ情けないわね。そんなんだから舐められるのよ。
いや、ルーデウスは魔術師だ。それでいい。
そうなの？じゃあ仕方ないわね。
なんで俺殴られたの？
すまんが、足のすくむ癖の直し方は知らん。自分で何とかしろ。
はい。ルーデウス、早く起きなさいよ。もう一本行くわよ。
Yeah, because outside of swordsmanship, it actually befits him to back up. Because he mostly casts magic anyway.
But if you only... The best way to get out of those situations is to move multiple directions. If you're only moving one, it's easy to predict where you're going to go.
No. Have you never watched a falling large object movie before? You run in one direction so the object can chase you. It's the
Exactly.
law. You did.
That's
7
a
years
vibe.
ago. Or 5 years ago, or however old you are right now.
That is absolutely a vibe.
よし。エリスもちゃんと授業を受けてくれるようになったし、この調子で5年間頑張れ、俺。
Because they never actually write down on screen how much time is actually passing, which threw me off hard the first time around, trying to figure out how old people were. And thus the episode name.
街では絶対に一人にならないでくださいね。またさらわれると大変なので、精神的に。分かったから早く行くわよ。それにしてもその格好。
まさに孫にも衣装ってやつだな。
お似合いですよ、お嬢様。
What, on the 1970s?
行くわよ。
なんなのよ。
Rudy watched too much Mad Men back in the real world.
ここロアはアスラ王国フィットア領の中で一番
Okay, largest city in the region.
美しい街並みに素晴らしい城壁。いざ目の前にしてみるとワクワクしちゃうよね。男の子だもの。
Okay. She clearly likes being around people.
僕ですか？
坊ちゃんいい服着てるね。漁師さんところの子かい？
そうですが。
ならとっておきの商品が手に入ったんだが、どうだい？
Gotta shoot your shot, I guess, if you're a merchant.
Yeah, you have to.
何ですかこれ？
こいつは今朝手に入れたアスラ王宮秘蔵の薬でさ。こいつを飲みや抜かずで10発いけるとか。女に飲ませりゃよだれ垂らして股を開くとかって噂。
You understand I'm under 10, right?
Yay.
How many times do you think I...
何よその文字、読めないじゃないの。メモだから僕が読めればいいんですよ。何書いてるか教えなさいよ。
横暴なお嬢様だ。
商品の名前と値段です。そんなこと調べてどうするのよ。相場を調べるのはネトゲの基本ですよ。ネット？何よそれ。ほら、見てください。
He's not
向
wrong.
こうの店だと大銅貨5枚で売っていたものがこっちだと4枚で売っていますよね。さて問題です。ここで頑張って大銅貨3枚まで値切ってからさっきの店で4枚で売ればいくらの儲けが出ますか？
It's a trick, Rudy. We're both still learning math.
なんだその計算は。
ブー、不正解。
4-3で大銅貨1枚。
綺麗な正解。
できた。
分かってたわよ。本当ですか？最初に大銅貨を10枚持っていたら11枚になるんでしょ。
本当に分かってるのか？まあいい、褒めておこう。お嬢様はプライドが高いから褒めて伸ばすのだ。
あ、今度は正解です。いやー、エリスは賢い。当然よ。とまあこんな感じで値段を調べておくと得をすることもあるわけですよ。算術がいかに便利か分かっていた
It's
だ
not
け
an
ました
item I want to be holding in front of two women, considering what I'm
Uh,
implying it
so
does.
like, I was talking here at the thing. Do you want the?
植物辞典、金貨7枚。
金貨1枚が10万円くらいっぽいからだいたい70万くらいか。高え。
Literally, what is the point in converting money to the real world? You're never going to use yen.
なんだったら一冊買ってあげてもいいわよ。軽く言いますが、エリスはお金を持っているんですか？おじい様が出してくれるわ。
ですよね。甘えさせちゃいけません。
Yep.
本は欲しいけど。
It also looks like he's writing in Japanese.
いらないです。なんでよ。エリスが
I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
どういうことよ。エリスは僕が月にいくらもらっているか知っていますか？
But we can't rely on them to tell us, because they're also learning to read and write. So,
2枚です。安すぎるわよ。
the fact that they don't know what he's written down doesn't imply anything if they don't know how to read.
何がホラなんだ？
ギレーヌは剣王という肩書きを持っていますし、護衛という仕事を兼任しています。 給料が高いのは当然です。じゃあ私だったらどんだけ高くても銀貨1枚が関の山でしょうね。気持ちはありがたいのですが、そういうのは自分のお金を持てるようになってからにし
The
た方がいい
fact that he's dropping these fact bombs on her, she's like, what?
珍しく静かだ。いつもこれぐらいなら楽なんだがな。エリスなりの日頃のお礼のつもりだったのだ。
Here's a sentiment that sure to drive anyone crazy who saw the last series reactions from me. But he also might not understand the customs of the world. That being a rich noble, you're supposed to implicitly act like you're rich to give off that vibe to everybody else. Otherwise, they might think you're doing poorly as a noble.
That's even a real world thing, too.
見るのは初めてか？
知っているのか、ライデン。キレーヌ。
知らないのか。
Raiden.
あれは交流王
Metal
ベル
Gear
ギウス
Solid,
の
I
空中
assume.
要塞だ。
ペルギウス？ペルギウスっていうのはね、魔人ラプラスを倒した三英雄の一人よ。ラプラス？
なんだ、それも知らないの
That did not look like the place of a good guy.
人を滅ぼそうとしてたすっごい悪いやつ。
あれ？この話どっかで聞いたような。どこだっけ？
ペルギウスはすっごく強くてね、12人のしもべと一緒にラプラスのところに乗り込んでボッコボコに叩きのめしたのよ。
Fear and did it with 4.
家にあった本だ。てっきりおとぎ話かと思っていた。
お嬢様は博識ですね。
今は交流歴414年だが、その交流歴というのもラプラスを倒した功績を称えて付けられたものなんだ。
The calendar's named after this guy.
ラプラスとの戦争とやらが終わって400年。ずっと浮いてるのか。てか、そのペルギウスってのは本当に生きているんだろうか。でも、いつか行けるといいな。
I think Perogius could be revealed later as a bad guy.
Who?
Perugius. I said it wrong on purpose because it sounded funny.
I would have laughed at any mispronunciation. That's my shtick, man.
That's... Yeah.
ありがとうございます。勉強の成果が出て何よりです。さあ、勉強に戻りましょう。ところでそれは何の薬なのよ。さあ、今日の問題は難しいですよ。二人ともできるかな。何ごまかしてるのよ。教えなさいよ。さよなら。キレーヌ、ルーデウスを捕まえなさい。話して。僕は何もやましいことなんか。
Yep.
だと。
美薬って何
Uh
よ。
oh, Grizzly knows words.
Yeah.
この後、うまくごまかすのは大変だった。何せ巷で噂の暴力娘と脳筋剣士。しかし二人の勉強の成果は着実に出ているようだ。今はとりあえずそれを喜んでおこう。
Oh, there you go. Little slice of life episode with a floating castle in the sky.
That doesn't at all set up anything menacing.
I mean, I don't know why you think it would. The whole backstory of it's literally a good thing.
So far as we know.
Well, how about this? It's also the facet that it's been floating there for 400 years, and apparently nothing bad has happened.
I'm suspicious of the pierogi man.
Well, I don't like pierogies. Polish background to the family, pierogies, and what's the other thing that's like pierogies? No, sorry, not pierogies. Stuffed cabbage. I also hate stuffed cabbage.
And a lot of cabbage-based dishes can be bland.
Kalumpis is the other thing I was trying to remember. Kalumpis, pierogies, I do not like. Well, I'm not a cabbage lover. They're all cabbage featuring meals.
I get down with cabbage. I'm cool with cabbage.
No. Sorry, there was a joke developing in my head and it went nowhere. It's like, okay, some joke about liking heads of cabbage, where are we gonna go with this? Nowhere, can figure it out. Alright. Explain that you were trying to make a joke, maybe that'll be funny.
Hey, you got the courtesy chuckle.
Egg firm.
That egg was quite firm.
What lies beyond effort?
I think we're going to be going into an episode where Rudy finally stops fearing being hit by swords.
Well, I mean, you remember he was getting trained by his dad up until now. And Paul's former adventurer, we know that.
Yep.
And he used to fight alongside Ghislaine, so one would assume possibly somewhere on the same level.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that his dad was stronger, but now Ghislaine is.
I don't even know where you would start making guesses like that.
I think it's just, I don't know why. It's just off feeling.
Actually, I think if you recall the letter that Paul wrote Rudy on the carriage ride over, I believe he says that he never beat Ghislaine in anything except in bed.
You're right.
Which is that the letter gets sent back home to Zenith.
Correct. So no, that puts that theory out of.
And I will indicate that this show does a lot of stuff that watching it a second time does give you not like reconceptions of things. Obviously it did with the whole Paul is a rapist. That was disconcerting as fuck. But like for example, I know every single person that was in that who's the former member of Grislaine's party. I know who every one of those people were. I did not know that about them. Well, I should have. I should have known that about them before. But this is introduced so early that I didn't even think about it. It never entered my mind that these people were in a... Well, some of them I know. That some of these people were in a party together. It reflavors some of these relationships now.
So,
in my mind.
That party has Zenith, Paul, Ghislaine, for sure.
And 3 other people. She said it was a 6-person party.
And 3 other people.
One of those people I never even suspected was... Well, I know they. I know they have a relationship with somebody that is active. I'm trying to be as vague as possible for your sake, while also letting the people who know that I know is active for that sake. But I did not know that they had a previous relationship that way, which goes a ways to explaining the actions that they take. I guess I don't remember if X person said exactly who they were to give them the information to treat them that way. Because again, that just goes a ways to explain their odd behavior.
So
with additional knowledge.
We also know the party breakdown that we're missing as well. Because we have the 2 warriors and the cleric determined.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, there was a thief, a wizard, and something else.
Oh, right. I forgot that they mentioned it that way. Hold on. Ah. Okay. Sorry. I'm already thrown. If I'm remembering who all these people are, then I'm confused about who one of those classes you just said would be.
Hold on one second.
No. I mean, I know you're saying that there's classes and you're trying to fill in the roles with the classes, but I'm trying to use my future knowledge without telling you anything. Knowing who those people are, and I can't figure out who a certain role is based on what I know. I guess it could be.
So this is the question: do we consider Paul a fighter or a swordsman?
Well, everyone's a swordsman.
No, because it says 2 swordsmen, a fighter, a thief, plus 1 mage and 1 cleric.
Yeah, it's like first edition D&D. We got fighting men. It's just words.
I would put Paul down as a swordsman and Ghislaine as a fighter.
Noted. Obviously, I can neither deny or confirm anything.
Correct.
At least, I would say I cannot say anything to that effect until all of those people are revealed. Maybe I'll, do a screenshot of that, silhouette thing and do, a who's that Pokemon with you at the end of episodes. See if you recognize any of these silhouettes by the characters that were on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we can, slowly fill them in over time. Just a fun little mini game or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because I could see somebody that would fit the difference between a fighter and a swordsman. Although I don't know why, but I could if I had to. Otherwise, I would just consider them to be a third swordsman. And I can only guess as to why one person would be put into a role that Ghislaine mentioned, but at the same time, I've never really considered them to be that. I guess mainly because I can't remember them doing anything to that nature. Again, vague as possible without giving anything away.
I am happy that the potion broke, because I don't want to see what would have come from it being there. Or the medicine.
The thing is, it only supposed to affect the person who drinks it.
I'm aware.
Right. So Rudy could have only, if lasting longer than 4 hours, consult a barber shop? I don't know where you go here.
Not true, because you can say, here, look, I got you a drink.
Right, but that's not the what it does. It's like liquid Viagra by the way the guy described it.
Yes, but it's not it. But I'm saying he could give it to somebody else.
To what effect? It's not
arousal.
What?
Arousal.
Well, I don't know. The same way, I don't think you can. There's female-specific Viagra and male-specific Viagra, for example. So you'd have to give it to a guy specifically, and then to what effect?
I don't think that was specifically implied.
I think it was because he said it in terms like that.
Okay.
Because I mean, he made it male specific, and then he pointed out a guy to try and sell it to. There's multiple pieces of evidence that would lead me to believe. And it wasn't Spanish fly. He wasn't describing it that way. He was describing it as, this will let you keep it up.
Either way.
I'm just saying, I think it would be more of a problem if rudeus drank it than him giving it to somebody else. He's never been successful. I mean, I'm kind of rooting against him being successful, but he's never been successful in any of these outings. He would just, I think, literally just be him stuck with an 8-hour erection.
I think we are also seeing the starts of Rudy's adventuring party form. And I think it will, so far we have seen him, Aerie, and Sylphette. I think they are all going to be part of the same adventuring party.
Well, the problem is that Eris and Sylphette are not even in the same area.
It's true. But
Also,
I think we will get there.
I don't know why you would think adventuring party, considering adventuring isn't even on the menu. It's not even menu adjacent.
I think it is because of the excitement.
and the attention focus at the mention of adventuring in that scene.
That was at the mention of this floating castle fucking thing. It's like...
No, it was before the castle. I'm not talking about Rudy's excitement. I'm talking about Eris's.
Right, but he's not here to partake in any adventuring. He's here to earn money to go to school that he wants to go to. He wants to go to school.
I think it's gonna be after school. I think we're gonna get time skip relatively soon of how the teaching went and then school.
So wait, do you think we're gonna time skip to school or to after school?
To school.
So you're saying all of this is mounting up to adventuring, but we're gonna still time skip to school to do
Correct.
What? Saved by the Bell?
That or some other form of high school-based entertainment.
I think it'd be high school. He's still under 10. I don't know what age to grade is. I can't remember.
I'd put it more of a college type vibe, but yeah.
10-year-old college kid?
Well, no, because time's gonna pass, and it's a magic university.
Yeah, but remember, he wanted to go to school, like, now.
I know.
He was asking for money to, like, go now, and I was younger than he is now.
He has to do the 5 years there, plus that's what I think is gonna happen.
Well, I mean, I can't dissuade you about what you think is going to happen, considering the fact that I know what's going to happen. So any efforts by me would just be like throwing a monkey wrench into everything.
In fact, I could be completely correct, and you could be gaslighting, and I would say thank you for that.
Well, I mean, I could be, but I haven't actually like thrown anything out there. You know, at most, I've just been asking questions. I've been Socratic gaslighting. I didn't say anything. I just asked you questions. You made up new theories on your own.
Yep. And that's how we get to great comments.
From Kevin Calton.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this is a fun episode. I'm looking forward to seeing how much time we spend focused on this point in time.
All right, well, I guess with that said, it's about time for us to wrap up here. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Justin. We have been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?